Hi there, it's Lisa Balachi St. Romain here on our 31st Sunday of Ordinary Time and our second reading. And this continues in Hebrews, reading from the letter to the Hebrews. And again, talking about the priests of the law and the Levites and that contract versus Jesus and his high priesthood. Okay? So that's what it's all about. So we're going to be doing some contrasting. Brothers and sisters, I want you to look at somebody when you say those words. The Levitical priests. So practice reading that word if that doesn't come easily off your tongue. Levitical, having to do with Levites. The Levitical priests were many, one after another, right? Because they were prevented by death from remaining in office. Do you get that? They died, so they couldn't remain in office, so we needed somebody else to replace them. That's a funny way to say it, right? But that's there you go. That's Paul. But Jesus, here is the opposite, because he remains forever, has a priesthood that does not pass away. That's the point Paul is trying to make. Therefore, he is always able to save those who approach God through him, since he lives forever to make intercession for them. He's for us. He's on our side. All right, pause. It was fitting that we should have such a high priest. Holy. Here we're talking about Jesus, so take this slowly, right? Holy, innocent, undefiled. You just see him, just pure and wonderful, right? Separated from sinners, higher than the heavens. He has no need, as did the high priest, to offer sacrifice day after day. Do you hear me say it? Day after day. First for his own sins and then for those of the people. First for his own sins and then for those of the people. It has to go on every day, right? No, he did that once for all when he offered, here's it, himself. Amazing, right there. When he offered, pause a little bit, himself. That's what he did on the cross. For the law appoints men subject to weakness to be high priest. Hey, that's the best we got. We're people, right? But the word of the oath, which was taken after the law, appoints a son, Jesus, who has been made perfect forever. And he's on our side. So this is good news, and I'm smiling. And 1, 2, 3, the word of the Lord. There we go. All right, let's read it straight through. No commentary. A reading from the letter to the Hebrews. Brothers and sisters, the Levitical priests were many because they were prevented by death from remaining in office. But Jesus, because he remains forever, has a priesthood that does not pass away. Therefore, he is always able to save those who approach God through him, since he lives forever to make intercession for them. It is fitting that we should have such a high priest, holy, innocent, undefiled, separated from sinners, higher than the heavens. He has no need, as did the high priest, to offer sacrifice day after day, first for his own sins and then for those of the people. He did that once for all when he offered himself. For the law appoints men subject to weakness to be high priests, but the word of the oath which was taken after the law, appoints a Son, who has been made perfect forever. The word of the Lord. All right, God bless. Practice reading aloud so that you can make your pacing as you desire. God bless.